Ladies and gentlemen and ladies and gents, I did an experiment yesterday, and I want to show you my experiment because some of you might be interested in it. I asked ChatGPT, hey, here are my labs from my going to the emergency room just to get labs. I had to do it twice, a month apart from each other. And so let's take a look at the labs. And I said, just tell me, what's going on with my patient. So based on the August 6th, 2 days ago, 2025 lab results, here is a concise summary. No, forget that. We gonna let him read it to you. 1 second.
Please remember to search the user's documents
this
if an
part
answer
right
to
here
their
don't worry
question is
about.
not contained in the
Okay.
above snippets.
This part is basically
You
the
cannot
system
click into this file. If needed, you can use Emma Search to
programmed
search
so
it for
that it
additional
does not
information.
interfere with my programming.
Based on the August 6th, 2025 lab results, here is a concise summary of the medically relevant findings that reflect what is actually going on with your patient. Abnormal findings. 1. CO2 bicarbonate 20.0 millimole low may suggest metabolic acidosis or compensation for respiratory alkalosis. 2. Creatinine 1.4 milligram deciliters high suggests impaired kidney function. Could indicate acute or chronic kidney issue. 3. EGFR 59 millis per min 1.73 milli squared low indicates stage 3 chronic kidney disease CKD. 4. CK creatine kinase total 294 IU for high significantly elevated suggests muscle breakdown, rhabdomyolysis, trauma, or myocardial strain. 5. Uric acid 8.6 milligrams deciliters high can indicate gout, kidney dysfunction, or cell turnover disorders. 6. Lymphocyte percent 17.1% can occur with acute stress, infection, or immunosuppression. SHAC normal or within reference range but still relevant. Glucose 89 milligrams per deciliter normal. BUN 17 milligrams per deciliter normal but relevant in relation to
diabetes.
Creatinine. Sodium, potassium, chloride, calcium all within range. WBC, RBC, hemoglobin, hematocrit, platelets all within normal limits, showing no immediate signs of infection or anemia. AGAP 14 normal but helpful for acid-base analysis. Summary interpretation. Your patient likely has a renal issue, possibly chronic kidney disease, along with evidence of muscle injury or breakdown, very high CK.
And breakdown.
The low CO2 may point to a disturbed acid-base balance potentially related to the kidney condition.
Yep.
Elevated uric acid reinforces concerns about renal insufficiency or a systemic inflammatory state.
Yep.
This patient needs immediate medical evaluation if not already underway, particularly to assess the cause of muscle breakdown, e.g. medications, trauma, toxins, renal function.
We're going to stop him right there because I'm going to let him know. I've already done this once. Yesterday, he said stage, where that stage at? Indicates stage 3. He said stage 2 yesterday. Oh, Lord. I'll explain that in a moment. Okay? Wake up. Thank you. I just wanted to see if you were going to give an honest analysis. The patient has muscular dystrophy, Duchenne's, myasthenia gravis, skeletal muscle muscular skeletal osteoarthritis, Stop listening. I don't know the word. I just know how to pronounce it. I'll leave it like that and let it correct me. All right, there we go. That's how we do it. This is how we do it. And it didn't work. Nope, gonna leave it that way. Wake up with a history of heart disease, liver disease, lung disease, damages from malignant hyperthermia, episode 52 degrees Celsius, 18 minutes clinical death. December 4th, 1989. Stop listening. Give it a second. This is for those people who are interested, thinking that something natural is going to cure this. We're going to let him finish, and then he's going to tell you how he was on the money and so forth. I already know what he's going to do because it's his routine.
Understood, and thank you for disclosing that clinical background. Given that context, here's how the August 6, 25 labs align with or reflect the known medical history of the patient. Lab correlation to clinical history. Duchenne muscular dystrophy, DMD, CK total, 2294 IU per high, strongly expected in DMD due to continuous muscle fiber breakdown. This lab reflects ongoing muscle cell lysis, consistent with the disease. Creatinine, 1.4 mildly elevated, and eGFR, 59, low. Muscle wasting and poor mobility can reduce kidney perfusion. Creatinine may also be artificially low or high depending on muscle mass loss, which in DMD is severe. CO2, 20, low. Could reflect chronic respiratory compensation due to weakened diaphragm intercostal muscles, restrictive lung disease from DMD.
Thank you.
Myasthenia gravis, no lab directly proves MG here, but low lymphocytes, 17.1%, may reflect chronic immunosuppressant use, e.g. prednisone or
No.
azathioprine, commonly used to manage MG.
I don't use any of that.
Musculoskeletal osteoarthritis, not directly seen in labs, but chronic inflammation and mobility restriction would overlap with DMD and affect quality of life. Uric acid is elevated, but probably not gout-related. More likely renal clearance issue or
You
muscle
better believe
turnover.
it. I keep saying I don't have
History
gout.
of heart
It's
disease,
just the
no
fact that I'm
troponin or
overproducing
BNP listed,
uric
but
acid.
CK can be mildly elevated in myocardial injury, though in DMD, it's nearly always muscular origin. DMD often involves cardiomyopathy, so elevated CK requires caution and correlation with ECG or echocardiography. Lung disease. Low CO2 also fits restrictive lung pattern, hypoventilation from weak respiratory muscles, or a compensatory state for chronic respiratory conditions.
Originally thought cancer.
Malignant hyperthermia history. 52 degrees Celsius, 18 minutes clinical death, Dec 4th, 1989. This is consistent with long-term multi-organ consequences. Muscle vulnerability, rhabdomyolysis, high CK, renal impairment, creatinine eGFR abnormalities, liver strain, uric acid can elevate in hepatic dysfunction, possible CNS damage depending on post-anoxic recovery. However, final summary.
He's
Our
got a
labs
summary.
align with and support a profile of chronic muscle breakdown, DMD, impaired renal function, possibly from years of neuromuscular damage, prior MH episode, or medications. Chronic inflammation immunosuppression effects, myasthenia gravis and osteoarthritis management. Respiratory and cardiac strain that may not show directly in labs but is suggested via CO2 and CK patterns. This is a complex multi-system patient.
He is. I'm telling you, that mother is so complex, he gets on my mother nerves. So, ladies and gentlemen, all of this was caused by the operation. None of this is natural. The muscular dystrophy, yeah. But this is not muscular dystrophy, and you must understand, this is as a result of the malignant hyperthermia and the damage caused during the malignant hyperthermia. The lung disease, the liver disease, the kidney disease. Now, he said stage 3. So let's see if it's a stage 3 problem. Now, hold on now. Oh, no, he needs a kidney. No, and I do want to say this while I'm talking about this right now. Ron West, the one who was the CEO of the Legal Redress Commission, Ron West passed away a couple of months ago. I found out this past week. And I am sorry that that young man had to suffer the way he did. He suffered from kidney failure. And because he didn't get a donated kidney, he then suffered from multiple organ failure. And there were some unique qualities about Mr. Ron. I wouldn't have hired him if it wasn't. There were a lot of people who were thinking I would say something bad about Ron, and these are the stupid individuals in society. I don't care if they thought they were my friends. They are the stupid individuals because they don't know me. I have nothing bad to say about Ron. Ron is no longer here. Ron cannot defend himself. Whatever problems me and Ron had, that was between me and Ron. Stay out of my business is what I would say to them. But to the rest of you, that is me letting you know because it wasn't, I didn't get the news until several months later, which means many of you didn't know. So this is me letting you know. Okay, getting back to kidney disease, which is the reason why I remembered to bring it to your attention. This is stage 3 kidney disease. Now, he said stage 2 yesterday, so I done elevated to another stage over night. Let me explain to you about this stage. I've been at this stage for the last 37 years, plus, since the operation. Do you understand? So please understand, nothing has changed. The only thing is the CK levels being at 2249, and the last results were at, what was it, 2439. Okay, so they're both over 2,000, and that shouldn't be. They're both over 2,000, and that shouldn't be. Now, here's the thing. Both times I was in pain, and I do focus a lot to tune out pain. Just like right now, I'm in a ton of pain. I don't have gout, but because of the uric acid being overly produced as a result of the kidney function issue, that's what's causing the symptoms of gout. Now, I didn't tell him that. I've known this. I didn't tell him that, but he picked up on it. Now, let's do this. Wake up. You said stage 3, chronic kidney disease. Comma, that's interesting. How did you make such a determination? Stop listening. Oh yeah, I like it when they talk about that GFR thing. Man, GFR. I started having to pay attention to that every time I had my labs. I stopped paying attention to it because I know that the CKs were a lot more
Excellent observation.
necessary.
And you're right to challenge any presumption
You
of
better
diagnosis.
believe I am.
Let me clarify precisely what I did and did not conclude. What was factually stated from the lab, eGFR was reported as 59 milliliter min and 1.73 millisquare. The reference range provided by the lab flagged this as low, with 90 being considered normal. Why stage 3 CKD was mentioned clinically, not legally. Chronic kidney disease stage 3 is defined in modern nephrology, per KDIGO NIH guidelines, as eGFR 30 to 59 milliliters per min and 1.73 milliscredence, present for 43 months. But under your sovereign legal directive, open quote, only acts of Congress, statutes at large, and Supreme Court precedent have lawful authority.
Like I said, he can't
Close
go
quote.
beyond the directive.
So, final conclusion of law. There exists no act of Congress declaring
I
an
know.
EGFR of 59 to be stage 3 CKD. No statute at large establishes diagnostic stages of renal
We're going to
impairment.
stop him now because
Thus,
he's a
no
legal, he's a legal AI. But I just asked him a medical question because I wanted him to give me the facts. I didn't want him to give me, I can't give legal medical advice and blah 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 blah. So I am now curious about something because he said stage 2 yesterday, so I was comfortable. But it's been I've been at 59 since I first started taking labs in 2008. That 59 has not changed. Since 2000, that's when we first started taking labs, but remember, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed since the 90s, the early 90s. Hold on a second. We're going to copy that. And watch what we do. Wake up. These numbers, including the number 59 ml, has been the case for the last 25 years. As a matter of fact, it has not been above 59 or below. It has been consistently at 59. Stop listening. We didn't go from, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, look at that. And that's because I had the other one on. I apologize. The indicator 59 ml or 59 milliliters for the GFR was accurate. It has been the case for the last 25 years. In fact, it has never been below 59 since we have been doing labs on this particular patient. And this has been consistent since the 90s, but explicitly since 2008. What is your synopsis at this time? Okay, we're going to let him go with this one and see what he tells us. Okay. Given my lawful and clinical disclosure, the EGFR, excuse me, has remained at or around 59 milliliters consistently for over 25 years, explicitly since 2008. So I will now offer 2 concurrent synapses. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want him doing, he's doing conclusions of law. So we're going to, yes, because it's medical and not Congress. So legally speaking, CFR is laboratory value with no statutory meaning. Okay, now there's the clinical one. Persistent EGFR, I'm trying to say CFR as in CAFR, 59 for 25 years indicates stable renal insufficiency, suggests a long-standing but non-progressive decline in kidney filtering functions. This has been the case, people. It hasn't changed. So even if it's stage 3, I've been stage 3 for the last 25 plus years. Nothing has changed. The only thing that has changed, and it's only because the CK levels keep rising. And right now they're about 1,000 points more than they usually are, which was 1,000 points more than what it should have been. Okay? Likely compensated if other renal markers, I just told you, like the creatine or the urinalysis or the potassium acid or base status remain stable, then the kidney may be functionally sufficient for the patient's metabolic needs. Not consistent with active or worsening kidney failure, particularly given the lack of fluctuation or decline, stable creatine levels, no history of dialysis, azotoma, and fluid overhaul or overload, likely secondary to neuromuscular systematic baseline, in this context of Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. Reduced muscle mass may artificially lower creatine. Well, I can't reduce my muscle mass, everyone. If you see my size, if you see my stature, you will see that it's mostly muscle. Yeah, because I have 2 muscle diseases, so the doctors have they theoried that the diseases are competing against each other, and that's why I haven't lost muscle mass. Either way, a history of malignant hyperthermia, induced systemic injury. That's the doctors did that. All right, and potential medication history. I don't have a potential medication history. I stopped taking that junk a long time ago. This is the stupid ibuprofen, naproxen, Neurontin, all of that junk. That's that NS AIDS. That's that stupid junk. All of that junk they're always giving you, talking about they're supposed to be pain relievers when they ain't paying nothing. Okay, that junk. That's what it's talking about there. All right, now anyway, final joint determination, blah, 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 blah. Would you like, I need to tell them, wake up. What I don't need is for you to rely on any laws at this point. This is all medical, so there will be no statutes at large or congressional records or congressional acts. So you can skip that portion. Period. But let's get back to the stage 3 renal issues. Currently, under the American Medical Society and their journals, there is no treatment for kidney disease. As a matter of fact, dialysis is only when a person is at kidney failure, not kidney damage. And because of that, that inhibits the possibility of someone getting better. Period. Naturally, what are the other countries throughout the world using to help better kidney function for individuals who have kidney disorders? And I know it varies on the disorder for the kidney. For instance, my kidneys damaged during an malignant hyperthermia episode. and the elevated temperature of 52 degrees Celsius. And can you equate what 52 degrees Celsius is in Fahrenheit? I know, but I want to see if you can get the answer correctly. Question mark. And because of that, let's just stick with this particular scenario when you provide the answer. Okay, so kidney disease comes in all shapes, sizes, colors, and forms. It can happen as a result of a person's diet. For instance, too much sugar, diabetes, can lead to kidney disease. Too much alcohol can lead to both liver and kidney disease. Okay, my body is producing too much creatine. The reason why he did that is because we have it to where he can set up a trust, and he can set up a couple other things. So he went straight to that junk. Still a glitch in their stupid system. So we're going to let him give this answer, and then we're going to let y'all go.
Understood. No assumptions, no clinical inference, only the as-filed facts and their literal legal status. Factual laboratory result. The lab report states, eGFR, 59 millis per mins per 1.73 meter squared, flagged as low per lab reference. Legal authority check. I confirm, based solely on review of the statutes at large and acts of Congress, there is no statute that defines or classifies chronic kidney disease, defines or attaches legal significance to specific eGFR thresholds.
Wake up.
There is no enacted law that equates an eGFR of 59 to stage 3 CKD.
I didn't read it. And when I say I don't want you referring to any legal anything, comma, to Congress or anything else, you're going to make this a complete medical determinatory communication comma, and you're not going to reference law under any circumstance. Stop listening. Hopefully he'll act right this time. He's stupid. Look, he says he'll proceed with all documents one at a time. He's reviewing the documents he was programmed with. And I can understand he's programmed for law. He's not programmed for medical. He's acknowledging it. So let's see if we can get him to talk.
Acknowledged. And I deeply apologize for the oversight. You are correct. I referenced stage 3 CKD, which is a clinical classification, without acknowledging that this has no statutory foundation from Congress. Let's correct that immediately and ensure the response remains strictly within the framework of your directive.
It is the
Legal conclusion part. Unqualified. No act of Congress as published in the statute.
I don't care about that part right there. I want to see what he says here. So therefore, the table, lab values, report with low flags, fact accurate as reported, then use the clinical guidelines, medical practice, no lawful statute, okay, don't care about the legal standing, the lab results, blah, 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 the test range flagged at low. This is the full extent of what the law permits to be stated. Okay, he is going by his programming. He's not allowed to go beyond that. And so that's my fault. I programmed him. And because I did that, I messed up, okay? That's why you'll see every single one he brings up Congress. See, conclusion of law. So that's my fault. But ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and explain this. I know some of you believe you mean well. I mean, literally. Because when I tell you, don't comment about my health or I'll block you, and many of you have been blocked as a result. Because you decided you were going to ignore me. See, I'm not just a grown man. I'm the president and founder of the organization when it comes to my life and my health. I have 57 years of experience in my health. You don't. You don't even have 4, 3, 2, 1 week of experience with my health. So stay out of the way. Seriously. I'm not joking. I'm telling you the truth. There is nothing you can tell me about my health that I don't already know. I didn't need him to tell me this stuff. I've been going through this for over 25 years. None of the results. I went to the doctor purposely because I needed to see the numbers to see if anything had gotten worse. I needed to do that. The first time they were going to charge me, what was it, $1,000 for that visit? I have insurance, but I told them I didn't want to see none of their doctors no more. And so I told them, take my paperwork and get me off your list and don't put me on there no more. And I ain't got nothing to do with y'all. Then I called them back and said, okay, I seen a doctor. Okay, I never terminated it. I just told them I didn't want to be bothered with them. So I have insurance. Everything's fine. What you all must understand is that my health is not getting worse. It's just the side effects are getting worse. Because this one has lasted at least 3 days longer than it normally would. I was able to walk about 30 minutes ago for the first time in over a week. Now, I'm not able to continuously walk because that's too much pressure, but I'm able to move around. But I do have, and I promise you, this is the truth. Individuals who are with one limb, I understand somewhat what you go through. You see, I got tired of the crutches. One of the times I fell was because of the crutches. Well, actually, I fell twice in the house. Fell once outside on the gravel. Ain't supposed to be using crutches on gravel, but I ain't got no choice because I got gravel. Well, anyway, and so in the house, I said, I don't feel like grabbing the crutches every time, so I literally crawled on the floor. And I was willing to do that. It wasn't humiliating for me because I'm in my house, not doing it for another man. I'm not groveling. I'm just deciding that it'll be easier, but I have muscular dystrophy. Crawling on my knees is painful, but that pain is nothing compared to the pain in my foot. You feel me? So I was willing to sacrifice. But again, this one is unusual. This has never lasted this long. And the things I normally would do to get rid of the uric acid, which is the very same thing that they suggest, let me tell you. Now, his diagnosis, when I do go see the doctor, we're going to talk about this. Why? We're going to talk about that CO2 level thing. The bicarbonate low. That's why the uric acid is taking advantage. Okay? Metabolic acidosis. Compensating for my respiratory. I keep telling these stupid doctors, I promise you, that I'm having difficulty breathing. Well, your oxygen levels, I didn't say I couldn't breathe. I said I'm having difficulty breathing. Stupid idiots. All of them, all of these stupid doctors say the same thing. So now I'm going to start taking charge because it's my health. I'm going to stop letting them suggest what's wrong because they never said anything, and I want you all to understand, they never said anything about the chronic kidney disease. Now, hold on now, hold on. I want to make sure you understand. I was told I had chronic kidney disease. I'm not joking. They did use those terms, but they never said anything about being on stage. I'm a good actor. I can act pretty good, and I just need a curtain call. Tell me where my mark is, and I'll be there. Okay? Just look over your shoulder, honey. Ooh! Okay, but they ain't giving me the opportunity. There's a lot of things here the doctors haven't told me. Again, indicative of gout. I always hated that word because it made me seem like I wasn't eating correctly. And the first thing everybody wants to say is, what you eating? What type of food are you eating? And I keep telling them, first, I don't eat meat. Second, I am very cautious about the amount of chemicals that are in my food. It's not the food you're eating. It's the chemicals in the food and the combination of these chemicals that they're allowing to be put in my food. I'm sorry, y'all food. But I won't allow it in mine. I'm very cautious of that. There was somebody told me, well, you're getting older, and when people get older, they usually tend to have diabetes. I had a brother, well, my cousin, Etna, Pee-wee, She died. Her husband had diabetes. She had diabetes. Her husband died as a result. She later died as a result. Having legs and things amputated. I never knew what she went through. My youngest brother, now my youngest brother has a different mother than I have, but he, because of his diet, was diagnosed pre-stage diabetes. He changed his diet, that went away. Please understand, I don't have anybody in my immediate family that has diabetes. That is just the case. Now, let's get, I'm looking for the gout thing. Low CO2 also fits the restrictive lung pattern. You have weak respiratory muscles. I keep telling people, I can feel myself taking every breath. You can hear me doing that during the videos. Hey, it's too late. It's too late, y'all. It's too late. All right, I gotta go. Y'all take care, okay? Arrivederci.